morning, November 8th, 2025. Somebody organized a fun run, if you will, today, about a 100-mile cruise. And we're pulling up to the Monette, Missouri VFW to meet up with all the folks that are going to go on the cruise. Supposed to be a bunch of classic cars and such, and it's actually looking like it's a pretty good turnout. Well, I think it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm seeing a bunch of cars, a bunch of old cars, new cars, classic cars, all the cars. So we'll, once we get started, we'll start the recording again and get us all going on this cruise. I'm just going to follow along and see where everybody goes. So that'll be it for now. Alright, we're getting ready to get moving. That Mustang pulling out.
Right after him.
Right,
Thanks for coming out.
You betcha. Some sweet cars. Probably should have gotten here a little earlier. Yeah, with this amount of cars, there's just no way to keep everybody together in one big old line. Just gonna have to deal with the traffic and keep an eye on folks and follow the trail. Cruising. I'll come back to this in a little while. Still cruising, just pulled out basically, and I think we're coming up to our first turn. So I figured I'd record that first turn as we're going along. A lot of folks in their cars. Older, much older, newer. Just a beautiful drive today. I mean, I don't think you could have dialed up better weather. Turning on 97. Some of these routes we're going, definitely less traffic. Negative thing maybe about cruising behind a bunch of classic cars is smelling the fumes. That's okay though, that's also what's positive about cruising along with some classic cars. So we're on 97 right now. I think we're headed, I'm not sure, I'd have to look at the map. I had to slow down. Are we turning? Yep. Yep. We got the crews backed up here. Everybody's got to get up that hill and get up there and turn. Look at all of them. It's all pretty cool. This kind of hill is I want to keep moving, so I'm going to back off because I want to keep moving because of my clutch. I don't want to have to stop on that hill and try to get going. I can do it. The cars behind me, I just don't like it. That worked out perfect. Go on 86. I've been on this road many, many times. So we'll take a break now. So back at it. Out ahead of us. What a gorgeous day. 65 Ford Mustang following a 63 Chevy Impala. Farm roads of Missouri. We're in Newton County, Missouri right now. Come back to videos in a little bit. Showing some more of the crews. Look at the cars come up top of this hill, and I think you'll be able to see a whole bunch of cars in front of us. I got a car behind me. I think they're probably lost. They're going to turn. They got in with the whole crew group. It's been really neat as we go along here. Folks realizing there's a crew, classic car cruise going on. They're standing out here watching, kind of like a parade. Not like, I don't think it was advertised or anything. They see it and they stand out here and watch. I think I've waved at 10 or 15 people and along the side of the road. There's several much older vehicles out here. See that one ahead of us, and they're doing just great. I mean, this is no race. This is just a cruise. Nobody's racing anybody, trying to get somewhere faster. Just cruising along. And here we are, probably coming up to another turn. Looks like. Stop it right here while we move through this. Wanted to show the line of cars going up here to this intersection to turn left. Hot rods, older cars, several Mustangs, Impalas. Mustang, probably Shelby. And then behind him is an old Volkswagen. This is pretty cool. Like I said earlier, a lot of these roads don't have much traffic on them. A couple of those roads behind us, I had to wait for a farm truck to turn off, and then there was a bunch of tractors waiting to pull out, so they're waiting for a long line of cars where they could pull out and get to where their fields. So so I don't get that music on the video. Otherwise, if I post this somewhere, the whole copyright thing kicks in. I'm listening to Golden 60s on Sirius XM, so somebody I'm sure would complain. It's just the way it is these days. Turning left on D Highway. Travel this route during February, March time frame. This area, Stella, and some of these places up here get eagles nesting. So we'll come out here and there'll be a ton of eagles, especially up this way, where we're going. There's some chicken houses, and those chicken houses will definitely attract the eagles. As you can see, this is a pretty drive through here. See the leaves falling. Not looking forward to that on my lawn at home, but it's just what you deal with. I have tons of oak trees at the house. Left here and you go back into Stella again. This is a nice little drive through here. Got to keep an eye out in front of me, make sure that the group doesn't back up again. So moving into McDonald County. So this is gorgeous through here, as you can see. Color changes, leaves falling, some trees are already bare. So I'll fire this back up in a few minutes. Yep, we're getting up here. Looks like we're going to be turning down towards where I was talking about the chicken houses. Eagles will be come February, January, February, March, that time frame. We'll see them on tops of these trees down here. I've never been in that particular restaurant. Mary and I have talked about it a couple times. Pretty neat that Mary and I in this car have done these back roads a few times. We'll get out and just go cruise, and we'll turn right and left wherever we are. And what's nice about having a GPS over here to the right, we've probably already gone past it for the video, is chicken houses, and you'll see eagles in these trees. Of course, the leaves are gone, and you can see them pretty easily, but right now they're not back yet. So I will pause this video and we'll get back to it in a little while. Figured I'd get a video of us going down through this area. It's pretty. Coming off of a good sized hill. Showing more of the McDonald County, Missouri back roads. All of the roads that whoever organized this, they picked, are good roads. Not much shoulder, so if anybody has any issues, they're going to limp along until they find a place to get off. But hopefully, none of that happens. Yeah, we're all bunched up again. I think we're going to be turning here in a minute again, and look, you can see a whole bunch of cars up there in front of us. I think there's some cars sitting here probably. I don't know if they're watching this or what. Yeah, organizers and folks keeping an eye on everything. Oh no, we got a truck. Truck had an issue. Good. Lots of help though. That's what's good about these things. People are going to stop and help. So good stuff. As you can see, going through this, it's almost a canopy through here. Been through here several times with the trees hanging out over. Pretty. See the leaves falling. Canopy into the clear. A couple of good curves. Don't have to worry about flooding today. Alright, I'll come back to it here in a little while. Alright, we got all backed up again. But that's because we're coming up to a turn up here. Same thing, but at least it's on a flat up here, so I don't have to worry so much about the clutch. Yep, I got a bunch of cars ahead of me, so I'm going to pause this. Well, I'm back on the cruise. We all stopped at a convenience store, Subway area. Most of the group's still there. I didn't want to continue to hang around and wait and see what was going to happen, so I've got the map. There's a car ahead of me. this little route, I've done it many times, is that we'll be going right along the river, this side of the river, Elk River. So, pretty cool. Some pretty scenery as we go along. So I'll start that up here a little bit. Lots of canoeing, rafting, river camps down through this area. My family and I have rafted, done canoes on this river many, many years. Color changes, trees already bare in some cases. Pretty time of the year, except for all the leaves piling up. It's probably about 60, 65 degrees right now. I think we're headed towards 70. I got the windows down, enjoying the breeze. Don't know if this particular battery is going to make it all the way through the trip, down to about 35%. We'll see. I do have 2 more batteries with me. Just a matter whether I stop and change them or not. Probably should have changed them back there at the big stop everybody was at. I don't know if anybody's stopping again between now and the end of the cruise. Back on when I've got some more. Alright, we're getting ready to turn left here on 90. I think this is about our turnaround, about halfway point, I think. So we're basically heading back at this point. This particular run from 90 all the way over to E is a nice, good drive. And as you can see, it's hilly. Go. show you some of these as we're going through. You can catch a glimpse of the cars ahead of this wagon. You can see them up there. West Missouri. Mostly, I believe we're headed back eastward. We're on the lower edge of Missouri down. We went further to my right. I don't know if it's south or not. Probably south. We'd be in Arkansas. So lots of hills down the Ozark Mountains and hills and everything. We're headed over towards Cassville. I think Cassville before we start heading back up towards our starting point. Got several miles to go. It's pretty. It is definitely pretty through here. They've done a good job of trimming back the trees and everything away from the road. Still no shoulder, but there you go. Good shot. I think that was a Camaro, Chevelle, probably a Bel Air. If I'm wrong on the cars, I'm sure when I post this, folks will respond and say, nope, you're wrong, because folks that put together this route do what they were doing. And I don't think they could have dialed up a much better day. You can see all the leaves falling. It's a little windy, enough to start knocking them down. We had a good freeze in this area last week before it jumped back up in the 70s. So it's definitely fall going towards winter. All right, I will stop it for now and see if maybe I can save it some more for later. I'm coming out of Monette on 60, headed back home. Just wanted to show you that this is the end of the